The recording?
Yes.
All right, everybody, we got a doozy of a show for you today. We forgot to do an opener, so we're doing it now. So that's how I know it's a doozy of a show. So we talk about a lot of great things today. What do we talk about, Ashlee? It happened so fast.
The only thing on my mind was speed dating right now.
Yeah. So it's a great episode. Everybody's got me and Ashlee in the room. We got Nancy in the room, Alizé in the room, Andy. We got Phil that came in here. But we talked about first generosity, be a blessing to people,
Don't
opening
steal
up your life.
blessings.
Yeah. What appreciating moments with people, and then we went into Nancy just had a plethora of dating topics she wanted to talk about. So
fabulous.
We went into that. Everybody enjoy the show today. There's a story. Ashlee had this best friend. Me and her were dating for like 3 months. And what happened was we're dating for like 3 months. She tells me, one of my best friends wants to go to dinner with her and her husband. I'm like, okay, great, let's do it. So we meet up for dinner. And which is like me and you, I skip out, I go to the server, and I pay for the bill for everybody. And then we come back, and the server comes like, the bill was paid. This husband and wife leave the restaurant, and he just absolutely loses it on his wife. He's pissed that I paid for the bill.
Mad. I forgot about
livid. Like, who does he think he is? Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
He's going off on her. They're divorced now. They're not even married anymore. But he just starts.
They're divorced now. She don't care. She's happily married, two kids.
Yeah, she remarried. Yeah.
No.
You could use it. I'm just saying.
Use it, please.
I'm saying, but he just absolutely lost it because
he was saying that Adam was belittling him. In a sense.
I was trying to make him look little, make him look broke, and he's not broke. He could pay for himself. And me, I'm like, it's a kind gesture.
It's easier to do it that way.
Yeah.
Why do you want to split it? To the dinner,
oh yeah.
Let's split it 5 ways or whatever.
And I don't do that all the time, but we were like at like Applebee's or something. We weren't at like Cheesecake. We were at Cheesecake Factory somewhere expensive. I'd be like, we're all splitting.
Yeah.
But like we're at like the bill was maybe like $60, and on top of that, I'm newly dating her, so like I'm kind of trying to be like I'm trying to impress her, like more so and less belittle him. I'm like, this is my girlfriend. She wants her best friend. Like I'm gonna pay for her best friend and their husband. Tell them I appreciate. I'm trying to get in on the circle, is what it is. Not me not knowing it was really not a circle. It was more like just a friendship with her and her friend, but. it was ugly, and we never went out again. Nope. I mean, I think they got in a divorce maybe a year later, but that was like 11 years ago or something like that.
Crazy.
But it was
but you do that all the time though. Like you'll even like there was a time I remember. I think we were married. I think we were newly married, and I forget it was for either my dad's birthday or my mom's birthday, and we were at Olive Garden. And I told you, hey, I'm going to lunch I was pregnant. I was pregnant with Matthias. I remember that. And you were at work, and you're like, I can't come. I'm sorry, I can't come. Well, he shows up at the end, and we're a table of, 12? We had the whole family there. And he shows up at the end. He was like, I'm so sorry, I just couldn't come. Obviously, I had work. And they're like, it's okay. Pull up a chair. And you pulled up for like 10 minutes. And they're like, okay, I got to go. And then we go to pay the bill, and they're like, oh, the guy that just left paid it. And so Adam came in, paid for the whole bill without us even knowing, sitting there. And then, yeah.
Well, it's a very nice compliment. Thank you for sharing that, Ashlee. No, just like honestly, I forgot about that.
He does it all the time, and it's the sweetest thing ever because it's he was at work. He was like, I'm so sorry I can't come. So we were sad that he couldn't come. It was my whole family. We're just right here at Olive Garden, but I'm like, I know he has to work. He would be here if he could. And then he pops up. He doesn't tell me he's coming, but I just told him, I was like, hey, we're at Olive Garden right now. Pops up and then pops in, pops out, and pays the whole bill. And he's just like, yeah, that was just something because I felt bad that I couldn't be there. So it's the stuff like that. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I remember those things for sure.
I try to budget for blessing. That I try to do. I like blessing people.
You do. You really do.
Everybody knows if you're with me. Yeah. If you're with me, I'm gonna pay for your meal, or that's why Gabe and Jermaine and all them say yes every time I ask, because they're like, I'll have to pay for food today. They just know it. I feel like if I ever like just paid my bill and then walked away, they'd be like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, they wouldn't even know.
But here's a good conversation.
But I also did this when I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. It wasn't because I've did well at work or in my career or whatever.
Right.
I did this when I was 24 and you know, barely could make bills, but I'd always budget to bless people.
Right.
Like, and you're talking like a smoothie, food,
Right,
coffee,
right.
whatever, you know.
But here's the question that I have though, because you're asking, or you ask them to go to lunch with you. And they know that obviously that the blessing will come. Obviously, if they go with you, they probably think too, like, oh, I'm up for going if I have to pay. But obviously, knowing you, is it right to assume as a person, if you're inviting me to lunch, let's just say, hey, let's do a lunch date. I want to take you out to lunch. I want to take you out to lunch means I'm paying for it. Is it all in the language? You don't have to. You have to
I don't
be
think
my.
So.
Okay.
I think that you. I think you ought to pay for the lunch if you're at least try to or fight to. Well, there's really two reasons why.
Okay.
If you are a mentor figure taking someone to lunch or being asked to lunch as a mentor, you want to try to pay the bill.
Right. I agree.
But also, if you ask someone to lunch, so here's where it's kind of dual.
Okay.
If you're asking someone to lunch because you want to learn from them or that they're pouring into you, then you need to fight to pay the bill. So to me, it works both ways. If I'm going out with someone I mentor, I'm still going to pay the bill.
Right.
Now, if someone I mentor says, can I pay this? I don't fight. Yes, you can. Like, Pastor Adam, let me pay this for us. Let me buy our dinner. I go, yes, you may. I don't like fight it, or I don't go like, no, let me pay. I just go, you want to pay? If I'm with someone and they look at me and they say, can I pay this time? I don't argue. I don't fight. I just go, yeah, you can. If that's what you would like to do, I'm, you know.
Why don't you fight? Because I always fight.
Because my thing is like, if you want to bless me, then, and it has nothing to do with me being me.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, as a friend, if you want to bless me with a meal, then I believe that's an act of generosity. So I'm not gonna steal your generosity from you. Jesus says that. He says, if someone asks for a drink of water, go get them a glass. Go give them a drink of water. To me, that's how that views. So if somebody says, Pastor, let me pay this time. Now, at first, I'll go like, no, let me get it. And if they back off, cool. But if they go, no, I insist, then I go, okay, yeah, no problem. Now, there are ones that I may know that they're going to do it. So 9 times out of 10, I slip out to the bathroom and I give it to the waiter ahead of time. But if I'm going to coffee with someone and they say, can I pay for our coffee or let me pay, I just back up and I go, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I don't, try to fight it. But if no one's touching their wallet at first, like I'm fighting for it every time. And I don't care. And I'm not going to walk away and be like, they should have paid for my meal. They asked me to be here and blah, blah, blah. We, you and I just went out with a group of pastors and we paid for everybody's dinner. And one of them said, why did you do that? We all could have just split it. And I said, what does it matter? We had fun. My wife met new friends and your wives. Like, what does it matter who paid for whatever? Like, I budget to be a blessing. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't have had it. I would have split it and I would have, but I don't necessarily buy luxurious things or whatever. And so specifically for me, I budget my lifestyle around memories and events. So for me, going to dinner with someone or lunch with someone is really the pinnacle of my day. Yeah. So it's a great memory for me. So I'm gonna pay every time. So I think to me, if you're going out with just your mutual friends, then say, hey, we haven't caught up in a while. Let's go to dinner. So I split it all day. I would never expect someone to split that. But if I'm like, hey, you're like someone I'm trying to learn from or that I really look up to, and I'm going to ask you to dinner, and I know that you're taking time out of your life. For me, this is Adam. I'm going to fight to pay the bill. Yeah. Now, if we go and if I'm pouring into someone, I am going to try to pay the bill. So to me, it is a little bit of a dance either way. Only time I do it, me and my buddy Eddie, he's a contractor. Yeah. He works in construction. He and I just basically just let each other swap paying the bills. Yeah. So we try to remember every time. Like, we don't talk about it like, hey, who got it last time? Right. It's more of like, more of a memory of like whoever pulls out the card first. And normally how me and Eddie will do it is we'll go to lunch and then, halfway through the meal, one of us will pull our wallet out and put the card on top of the wallet. And then you just know, like,
they got it this time.
Just back off. He's getting it next, And then he may get 2 or 3 in a row, because we're not hanging out every single week. Right, so he may get a couple in a row, but eventually I'm like, oh, I'm catching up, or we're taking him and his wife out and we're swapping, I think that's a better way than just if the Lord has graced you enough to be able to do that, then why not? Right. And if he's not, you know, there was a time, I share the story, went to dinner years ago, Phil, when you guys were really financially tough. There was a time I was with a group of people in church and we wanted to celebrate someone's birthday, and it was a big birthday. Like I remember it was like a 35th or a 40th. It was a big deal. And so they asked us, they said, hey, the husband said, I want to take my wife to Fleming's. Would you guys go? And I said, yeah, for your spouse's 40th birthday or whatever it was. Yeah, we'd be happy to go. Like, hey, Phil, Ange, you guys should come. And he said, oh, no, it's okay. And we're like, what, you don't have that? You can't go? Like, are you free that day? He's like, yeah, I'm free. And then he's just kind of like, we don't have the money. It's been so hard lately. Yeah. And I was like, oh, bro, we're like, that's not going to happen. You guys are going to come to Fleming's. Right, we going to cover you. That's not an excuse. We can all, I'll do my best. I'll cover your guys's, I want you there. I don't want you to you're our friend. I don't want you to miss the memory. And so he came, and then I don't know how it got figured out or whatever. Well, we were splitting the bill. And then we were all splitting the bill, and everybody was doing their math, and they said, hey, Phil, this is your number. And I said, oh, no, give that to me. I'm covering Phil and Ange for this dinner. And then everyone else at the table said, well, then we'll all split it. We'll all split it. That's great. I'm glad Phil and Angie made it. Because at first I wasn't even going to say anything. But the way they were splitting, you couldn't not. I just like, hey, give it to me. And then everyone decided, well, then let's all split it and cover it. I think that's what great friends do. Because you never know when you'll be on the opposite side of that. And we have been on the opposite side of that.
100% with Sanaz and Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan and Sanaz when we were younger and we were in financial binds.
When we went to Hawaii and we had nothing, and
they looked after us then.
Yeah.
But then they also looked after us when your car broke down and we needed a new car, and we needed like $1,000 down payment in order to get the loan. And Nathan was like, check yours, whatever you used back then, Zelle or whatever, 8 years ago or whatever. And he Venmo'd me $1,000 and was just like, that's for you guys. We want you guys to know we love you and we're so sorry your car broke down and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, oh my God. Yeah. And I think when you live by that way, because you'll always be sometimes on that receiving side of being financial. And to me, there's always something we can do, right? For someone else. You may not be able to pay someone's dinner. That's a reality. But you could buy someone's coffee. Right, you can, you can.
I think I have the problem with what you said is robbing someone's blessing. Like it's the same as like someone giving a compliment. I don't know how to react or to receive it because I'm like, this is awkward. I make it awkward. They're not making it awkward, and it's not awkward for me. It's easier for me to just pay, and then you be quiet. And that's how I feel like with the person. Because for me,
it's not awkward if you just look them in the eyes and you say, thank you so much for paying. I appreciate it. And then it moves on.
Yeah. Well, I get, but I'm like,
but you're trying to play a dance. I don't play a dance.
Yeah,
I don't go,
oh no,
I insist.
I know, I do that.
If someone because all I do is I pull out the wallet and they go, no, let me get it. I go, if you'd like to get it, you can get it.
Yeah, no, I
Thank
mush
you so
the
much.
people out the way.
No, I just.
Yeah.
Phil grabbed the mic.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just want to tell a quick story. So
you're gonna have to get lower, bro.
So
you lost 50 pounds, so you can kneel now.
Yeah, I remember one time we paid one of my bosses, my old bosses. We would hang out with their daughters a lot, and me and Ange paid for lunch one time, like a $25 lunch, and she got so upset. And these people, they had bucks, like millions, like she had a lot of money. And she got so mad, dude. She takes Ange to the mall, like, oh, we're gonna go get our nails done. Pays for the nails, and then when the nails were done, and it was like $125. Like Ange never gets her nails done like that. And then she brought out some Celine glasses or Chanel or something, like these dark black. It was Ange's first pair of like nice sunglasses, and gave it to her and said, "Don't ever pay for my lunch again." Bro, they were like $795 or something. The ad still has them to this day. But that's the story, bro. We were like, all right, bet.
Yeah, right.
All right. Want another $25 lunch?
Yeah, can I take you to lunch tomorrow? Because I got my car that needs to be worked on. I got a flood in my house right now. Can I take y'all to dinner?
Right. Wait, so when it comes to dating, though, so would you date a broke guy who's like trying to?
Absolutely not.
Because you guys were married when you're talking about like struggles, right? Or were you dating?
No, so we
were dating, but I was dating and married when we financially were struggling. Yeah.
So for me,
but I wasn't broke. I worked.
Yeah.
I worked,
so
you know.
Right. Okay, so and I'll say this as well. Like Adam has made mention that I've dated a couple guys that had money. They've never flaunted. Adam was the first person to like, not flaunt to me, but he was the first one to explore that with, and that wasn't until after we were married, as far as like the nice things. Like he would buy me nice necklaces and jewelry and stuff like that. The guys I even dated, like they were athletes, but they were broke athletes because they weren't even in the league yet, or they were there, but they just weren't financially like showcasing their money in that way. So like when Adam and I dated, I never even still had the expectation of like what it meant to go to a nice restaurant. Like I had been to like one nice restaurant on a date, and then with one boyfriend, but then that was it. Most of the time, like when I was in college, I was considered the one that had the money because my parents, I had this full scholarship. I lived in an apartment, but my parents paid half of it. So, and then they would give me money on top of the money that I got from the school. So I was looked at like I was the one that had the money. So like, and at that point in time, I didn't even know what it meant to have money. I was like, I have groceries from Walmart in my fridge. Yeah, I guess I have money. But like, and I lived off campus, so I guess that means I have money. Everyone still lived in the dorms. So then when I met Adam, and then when I lived in Chicago, I lived with my aunt. So by the means, as far as like what it meant to have money, or did I consider Adam to not have all the finer things, I looked at it more so as like, was he kind or would he pay for the meal, like when we went, or when we went to coffee, would he pay for it, or he would order for me? Those are things that I look for more. And it isn't having to be lavish, or none of our dates on the first couple dates were very like extreme of like him doting to me and taking me to Fleming's or Javier's or anything like that. It was more on a relational side.
I couldn't afford that.
Yeah. So
when we met, I maybe made $40,000 or $45,000 a year when we first met, and so that's a pretty entry level, where people normally start making money in their 20s. I was in my early 20s, so. And I had a home, and so my house mortgage was it was like $2,900 a month, making $45,000 a year, because they gave me a loan. It was a weird first time home buyer thing. You only needed 9% down, but no one told me like how much that really does bite you in the butt if you get house broke. And so you're like, oh, I can get this size house and only have to put down 14 grand. But they're like, yeah, but also your payment's going to be $3,400 or $2,900. So I didn't. I've just always been, everyone has, for the most part, things they spend on. And so, and so everyone has that thing that to them, like they'll spend money on. And so for me, it was like food, restaurants. It was restaurants, food, and like memories. Everything else, I lived very, like I didn't have furniture in my house. I didn't have none of that stuff. I literally had no furniture in my house. So I had one couch. So that's not where I necessarily spent my money. I spent it on restaurants. And so that's all it was, in that case. So, but when we dated, I just tried to create great memories with her. And that's how I would spend whatever money I had, which was not much.
Yeah.
But relatively soon, so we had money issues, but relatively soon I started making a marketing company that just took off.
Yeah.
It took off. So, was just, there was no end in sight with how much money I could make at that time with that. Yeah. So it just, if I wanted to make more money, I could just take on a new client. And I was charging anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 a month per client. And so and sometimes I'd have to pay like videographers or photographers, or because it was a marketing company for business. But I was like, it was blowing up. And that's really what changed until I said no to go, like I was in full-time ministry, but then it was like at a place where the church needed my whole heart. And that I had was like, that was in 2018, 2018 when I had to fully like give that up, which that was like, Lord, we fully trust our finances to you. Because before that, it was just like, I can go get a new client. I can go get a new client. I can get, that's how I was when I first met Phil. I had that marketing company. And so it was just one extra client until I got offered that deal for $2.5 million. And And I said no, because I'd have to quit full time. And it was a contract thing. It wasn't like they were going to give it to me right there, but it was like a contracted thing. But in the end result would have been that my company would have made 2.5 million. And I would have had to probably pay about 1.5 in staffing, stuff like that. And then that's when I talked to Ashlee, and I was like, if I do this, I'm going to have to get out of full-time ministry for a few years. And we just felt like that wasn't the Lord. And
yeah, but
but I think that just comes with being obedient and choosing purpose over finance, and choosing to be blessing with what you have, with whatever you do have. If you have a lot, give a lot. If you have a little, give a little.
Yeah.
You know, like give what you can to people. If you have a local church, give towards your local church.
Yeah.
Like, God honors that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But like when it came to the financial side of things, when Adam and I were dating, there wasn't ever a time, I guess for me, I would just say, and not in a like uplifting way or a negative way, but I wasn't a really shallow person to say like, oh, you're not taking me here, you're not doing this for me. I genuinely wanted to get to know Adam, and whatever lane that was, as far as us walking in a park, us talking over coffee, I was content with, because in reality, I had a taste of what life would be like with someone that was famous or someone that had status, and that was something that I wasn't desiring anymore. It was something that I didn't feel was necessary for my life, and I didn't feel that would be a normal life for me. Not to say that it doesn't work for other people, but I knew when getting to know Adam, I knew the more I got to know who he was, I was like, okay, he can take care of me. He can provide. He's kind. He's a man after God's own heart. Those were things that I was looking for more than the financial. Does finance, like we've talked before, does it help? Absolutely, it does. And obviously, as you grow older, hopefully you gain more wisdom to have more work ethic, to strive and achieve the financial gain that you desire for your family and your future. But I think on the front end, you can really determine that in the person that you're talking to. You can tell real quickly if a person is hardworking or if they're lazy, or if they're looking to lean on you for financial, or if they're looking to supply. I knew that very well off from the beginning, just seeing Adam's work ethic, not only personally, but just in the church, and just how he functioned among staff and then functioned out. And this was not just us dating. Like, you can see the work ethic that he had, because we've made mention before, we hung out maybe every other week. Maybe every other week or once a week. We weren't consumed with each other just because we were both busy. I had to work because I was living at home, and I had bills as far as car payments and paying my mom. And then you had your house payment. And so it's one of those things where the times that we did have together, we made sure that the finances were there just in case we wanted to do something fun. But it wasn't ever any time when I got with him, like when we got together, I'm like, so are we going to Irvine Spectrum and you're going to take me to Javier's? Like, it wasn't, that wasn't a desire. And that's just because it's personally not it wasn't ingrained in me to feel like I needed to be doted on like that. It wasn't me that needed to, did you perceive me differently? Did you think I needed any of that?
No. No, we didn't.
I liked the fun stuff.
We didn't do those things.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We couldn't afford it, but like in my personality too. Like, if I was a woman that desired that, what would that have been for you? A red flag, or like I can't afford it? I can't just.
That's not a red flag for me.
Yeah. Would you have tried to obtain that?
Obtained what?
Take me to Javier's every week.
Oh, I couldn't do that every week. I'd say we may not work out.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say, hey, good. I'm very glad that that's a standard of living that you want. I cannot provide that, and nor am I going to let you put that pressure on me that I need to provide that. Maybe one day I will be in a financial place where I could do that. As of right now, I can't. If that's a deal breaker for you, then kick rocks. I mean, that's really what I would say. I'd be like, if you were like, this is what I want. Because you know that's how a lot of people are. I'm really happy for you. I'm really glad that that's what you want from a husband. Maybe you ought to get a little older and you might be able to find that. Because we met when I was 23 and you were 25. So we were still young. Right. So, you know, if that's the standard you wanted, maybe you find that in your 30s. Maybe a guy will be able to take you to Javier's every weekend in his 30s.
I mean,
the average 23-year-old The average 23-year-old is not going to be able to take a girl to Fleming's every weekend. If he is, he's stupid and he's just spend his money saving for a house or something else, you know, if he could do that. So, you know, like but if a girl goes, hey, this is how my parents treated me. This is how my father was. My father had a great career and he always got me the nicest bags and that's what you ought to do for Christmas. I mean, I'd keep it 100 and say, that's not my reality. That's not what's important to me right now. What's important to me is paying off my student loans or getting out of my parents' place or whatever. And if that's something that you don't find attractive, that maybe one day I can supply that, but I'm not gonna live at my parents' house while having student loans and not being able to afford to live on my own, but get you a Louis Vuitton purse for Christmas. Like that is, you know, or whatever else, or even, you know, $500 wallet. That might be, that would actually should be more of the red flag to be like, if you're one and you but some people they're not thinking about marriage. They're just thinking about dating, having a good time. So to them proving themselves or saving, you know, showing something, it isn't there because they're just like, I just want to have fun from weekend to weekend. Like, but I wasn't that guy. So if you're like, oh, I'm just looking to have fun weekend to weekend, I'd be like, man, good for you. I'm so happy that that's what you want. I'm not the guy who's going to provide that. All right, everybody, welcome to our advertisement.
Yeah.
So you're watching our episode. We did a short break.
Yep.
What do we got a little break for, Ashlee?
Oh, something really, really exciting that when you came home and told me about the news, I was overjoyed, and I hope you had 30 pieces, but you only had one, but it's okay. We are going to be talking about our new partnership.
Yes.
With an amazing jeweler.
Yes. So we have big news. We've teamed up with the exceptional jeweler, Aaron Barnett, to bring you a unique jewelry experience from precious metals to custom creations. Aaron has it all, whether you're treating yourself or surprising a loved one. So it could be for you or someone you love, okay? Mother, grandmother, sibling, you know, spouse, a loved one. His jewelry is a testament to cherished moments. As part of our community, you get special discounts and a chance to visit his private showroom in Los Angeles. So for anniversaries, birthdays, or just because, discover Aaron's jewelry in our show notes. Elevate your relationships with exquisite pieces from our partner, Aaron Barnett. It's a great relationship that we have because now we can offer great discounts to our Beyond I Do community to hook them up. And so you visit, like we said, visit the show notes and let's get back into the show. Provide that.
Right. And so, while dating, like, do you think, I mean, I'm pretty sure I kind of know where it's going to go, but do you think like that, because I'm the type of person that I love to cater to. So I want to buy you things and I'll pay for lunch and I'll pay for dinner. So I feel like that bleeds into like when I'm dating, but I don't think it's a good habit because I don't want to become anybody's sugar mama, you know? So it's like, do you think a girl should pick up the check sometimes for dinner and like lunch and stuff when you're dating somebody, only if it's serious? Or what are your thoughts on like the woman picking up the check? Like,
I mean,
just be real.
I have very traditional convictions. So, you know, I've been with Ashlee for 11 years. She's maybe driven me in a car 5 times. Maybe.
And that's when we had to get somewhere fast.
Yeah.
No joke. I'm like, you're in the passenger.
Because I'd be moseying now.
He's a grandpa.
Yeah, I'm mosey. So maybe in 11 years, she's driven me 5 or 6 times. Maybe in 11 years, maybe 10 times I've let her pay for the bill. Maybe. And it's just because she's like, I want to treat you today, you know? And I'll be like, okay. I've never fought it. But like, so, you know, maybe 7 or 8 times in 11 years or 11 plus years, whatever it is. So, you know, for me, I'm just a little more traditional in that way. So I wouldn't let her. Now, if she ever wanted to be like, oh, let me buy you that shirt, let me buy you that sweater, and she's done that kind of stuff over the years, that stuff's like, and I appreciate it, and it means a lot when it happens, and I feel good if she buys me a gift. Like, that stuff happens all the time. But kind of in terms of roles of the relationship, we're very biblically conservative in that way. We're very traditional in our relationship in that way. And so, you know, for me, anyone could do it however they want. But for me, I wouldn't make a practice of it, nor would I want to do that very much. If the girl I was with, some guys may be like, I would love that, but I'd also be concerned. Like if I was with a young man and he's like, man, me and my girlfriend, we split half the time, or she pays my bill half the time, I'd be like, well, I don't recommend it, you know, because part of the man, part of what ingrains us and drives us biblically is that the man will have hard work and he will have sweat on his brow. Yeah. So I think young men should work hard, and they should work hard for what they have, and they should sweat for what they have. And so I think the moment if a girl comes in and goes, man, I got this, you know, let me, unless that works for the household. Aaron has shared great circumstances where him and Erica were dual income and he got let go. That's different. That's marriage. And man, I'm just talking about in general, like if a guy just hits the back seat and he's like, yeah, my girl's got me. Yeah. Like to me, you're kind of out of God's makeup for how he's made men and women and the value they have in the relationship. Unless he's also going to say, when we have kids one day, I'll hold it down at home with the babies and you can go work. I mean, that happens. People do that, but we do know that's a little bit out of the ordinary. So those are to me are like little, you know, differences or small nuances. But overall, like, don't be quick to pull out, as a girl, don't be quick to pull out your credit card and or a credit card or debit card, whatever you want to call it. But be like, I got it today. And him be like, okay, cool. You know, like, I don't know how I feel about that.
And if he lets you pay, run.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
he lets you pay.
Now, if you approach him and you ask him on the date and he's like, oh, I'm not, you know, I'll check it out. Let's go to dinner. Like, you should try and pay for that because he's not even interested in you yet. You made a move. So if you're going to make a move, then you might want to offer to pay the bill. But even then, for me as a guy, like if I'm not even remotely interested in a girl, I'm not going to say yeah to dinner. But some guys do. It is. With this whole, like, you know, social media dating game nowadays, people slide into DMs and just go like, hey, you want to go to dinner this weekend? Or whatever y'all do. I don't know, whatever happens nowadays from what I hear.
Yeah, like, I just don't think that
say it.
As a man, if you're desiring to date somebody, I don't think you're desiring, as a man, you want to date. And you want to go on dates and you want to take girls on dates, I think you should check your wallet before that happens. Just because I don't think if you're desiring a date, or even if you're desiring it to just be a hookup, you still got to have money to pay for the date before the hookup. But if you're desiring to date somebody and you're saying, I'm mentally ready, I want to court somebody and I want to walk down the aisle, I think that you should honestly make sure that your finances are in order to know that it's the same as like having a kid. Now you're adding someone else to your life. Not to say that they're going to take on everything. Like if you guys start going on multiple dates and you're taking it seriously, there's a point in time where I was like, hey, let me pay for this one time. You still didn't let me, but it's something just as a gesture to say, okay, after 3 or 4 or 5 dates and we're getting serious, I think that, hey, let's go to the movies. Let's go mini golf, whatever it is. I think the girl at that point can come in. But I think a guy that is interested in a woman should at least say, do I got Starbucks money for a first date? Do I got money for the movies? Do I got money for miniature golf? In the first 3 dates to say, like, let's see where this goes. And if it doesn't go past 3rd or 4th, then be okay.
I think most of them do have it. The problem is that society, and even with the rise of like certain popular feminism and stuff like that, has taught the guy, like, let equality happen.
Yeah,
so if she wants to offer, take it, and she wants to, be what's, do what's fair, and blah 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 blah. So I think most young men, because I think it's instinctual. Only a lazy man would be fully okay with the girl, paying and taking the lead and all that stuff. Like most guys would say, like, no, I want to be chivalrous, I want to do this, but society right now is telling me, like, that's toxic masculinity. And that's where I think a lot of men might be at today, is like, am I supposed to let her pay if she offers? Because if I don't, like, am I going to lose an opportunity with this girl? Mm-hmm. Because in the past, like, girls wouldn't even offer.
Right.
to pay. It was just kind of expected. Men covered it. Maybe, you know, nowadays, this even, I feel like 10 years ago, that wasn't even a topic of conversation. Can the girl pay for the meal? Can the girl ask the guy out on the date? Like, over 10 years ago, that was just never a conversation. But with the rise of how feminism has gone and what toxic masculinity is a bad thing, now guys are going, I don't know what the heck. That's why I say, like, I mean, I'm traditional, I'm big, because that's a very big clarifying factor. Because you would have to know right away, like, what does this person think about relationships?
Yeah.
Because the guy could be like, I got this. No. And she's like, no. And he thinks it's a cute little fight where she's like, no, let me get it. And he's like, no. And he thought, oh, that was really cute. And she walks away and goes, I can't believe that he thinks he has to provide for me and he didn't let me pay. And at least we could have split it. Like,
no, there's a story. There's a story I have. Okay. It's of my sister, and she's going to hear the story and she's going to laugh. There was a date that she was supposed to be going on. I think I told you about it. And it was somebody of status. And the person of status said, I'm going to Uber. He has a car, mind you. Has a car, wants to take her out on a date, but told her, hey, I'm going to Uber to your house. You can drive us to the restaurant, drive us back, and then you can drop me off after the date. And she was like, wait, what? So you're going to spend money and not get in your car, and you're going to Uber to me. So then I could drive us to the restaurant, us have dinner. Yeah, mind you, you'll probably pay. But then after the dinner, now you want me to drive you home, which is now 30 minutes out of the way because it's in LA, and then drive back to my house. That's not happening. She literally goes, you can Uber to the restaurant. I'm like, I was shocked she still went on the date. I was like, this is wild to me. So then at the date, he's like, are you sure you don't want to just take me home? And she's like, no, you can Uber home. You can get there you can get home how you got there. I was just like, this is insane to me.
And I don't know if it's just my feed, but I feel like now people are realizing that it's like, no, they're calling it like you want to be in your soft feminine era. Like you don't want to, you don't want to be, I know I sound like a Gen Z.
No, I mean, I believe that's what's going on.
But because women are like, no, you know what? I don't want to pay for everything, or I don't want to be the one that's always like trying to take the lead, or, you know, like I do want a man who is masculine and like knows, you know, how to lead and knows how to take initiative. Like
people are realizing that doesn't work, you know, like like switching all the, like in a popular sense, like switching all these roles and allowing society, and really what a lot of this stuff comes from is these whack, just totally weird universities that, you know, teach this to students that are 18, 19 years old, that are, you know, soft as sponge, and then they leave university and they say, this is the way the world's supposed to be. And then you go put it in practice and you're like, this is actually really ridiculous.
Right.
It's really ridiculous to, you know.
Soft woman era.
The soft feminine.
Like you want to be back in that where you're not.
Well, it's popular again. Did you have that video, Andy? The one, the girl.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what you're talking about, Nancy. I saw this video. Play it, Andy. Let me see if this one's it.
The feathered band.
I must be pretty weak-willed because all it took was falling in love with a man, and now I'm like, not really. I mean, I'm a feminist, but like, kind of. I don't really need my maiden name. I don't really need it. I like your last name better anyway. Like, I'll just take that. I know he can do his own laundry. I know that he can clean the house, but I want to do it for him. I want to cook all his meals. I want to make sure he's getting all his whole grains, all his vegetables. I want to make sure he's getting all that protein. He has not asked any of this of me. It just kind of naturally kicks in. Like, these instincts just kind of come out of like, oh, now I have to take care of you when you're sick. Oops, I made you breakfast and it fits all of your dietary requirements. My bad. I think I got possessed by a housewife. Is that what happens when you just get possessed? What's the equivalent for men? What do you turn into? Do you turn into like a father? I don't know. It's growing up is
That is great.
But I think that's it's popular again. Like, and it only you know, this idea of relationships. I feel like to me it was only like a 15-year stint. Right. Where now it's falling back into that idea of like going like, I think I'm a feminist. Well, maybe I'm not, because I'd rather just not worry about these things and be in these strengthening roles that
it's
really
the
build
trending
a family
TikTok
up.
that's not going around, that's been around for, I wouldn't say the last 5 years. Like, whoever fought for women's rights, I need you to not do that again. I'm good with not working. I'm good with being a stay-at-home.
So the women's suffrage movement.
Yes, no, thank you. Like, I am good. I was like, I am the damsel in distress. Save me, please.
Right. And again, it comes down to, obviously, if you're not a believer, like when you know the word of God and you know what a Proverbs 31 woman is, then you're like, okay, that's the woman I aspire to be. So of course, like in the secular world, in the worldly aspect, you're like, oh yeah, this feminist thing, it's not gonna work.
I just love how they put labels on everything. Everything has a label. Like, it's not just the identity of a woman and a man, because if you go back to the biblical standards and how God has created us uniquely differently and the attributes that come with each single woman, we all as women are technically ingrained in the same way as far as when it comes to emotions, support, love, care, authenticity. I think that, and then the men's side of it's still masculine. And we've just allowed society protector, provider. We've just allowed society to dim these things and give it labels as far as, it's cool to be this, or it's cool to be that. And in reality, it's already ingrained in us because God has created us that way. That it's never going to go away. Like what is this thing? The feminine what era? What?
Oh, you're soft.
You are a woman. Women are soft. Women are emotional. Women are
saying that
caring.
as a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. But then it's not a label. That's what a woman is. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not put labels on things. Like you're not a feminist. No, we're just opinionated. Women can be opinionated. They don't have to be a feminist. No, we're opinionated and we got an attitude sometimes.
So does soft feminine energy include cooking, Nancy?
No, it doesn't.
So I mean,
it does not.
Maybe
the Bible says that it should be.
Ashley. I want to ask Ashley how biblical are we getting
Ashley,
right
we'll
now?
get together because
I'm a feminist on this.
She's changed all of a sudden.
I'm a feminist on this.
I'm bringing back the labels.
Listen, I will learn how to bake sourdough. You want sourdough bread? I will learn to bake some sourdough
one time,
bread,
and you better enjoy that one time.
That one time.
But I'm saying, like, it's with the labels that it's so crazy because it's just, I want to be different. It's the Gen Z Me Too, like Me Too era, like, or what did she go? No, Me Too, not Me Too.
I was like, Me Too's a legitimate era.
Yeah, sorry, it's a legitimate era. Not what is it? Pick me, pick me, pick me. Oh, pick me because I'm different. Pick me because I'm a feminist. Pick me because I'm in my soft women era. Whatever stupid thing is. No, you're a woman. You're a woman and a man, and you guys have been uniquely created in God's image, in His ways. He knows you in and out to where, like you said, provider, protector, masculine, strong, brave. Women are more sensitive, caring. It's why are we putting labels on something and trying to make it work again? When like we've said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. Like, men, continue to cater to the women, continue to love on them, continue to show, like, be chauvinistic in the sense of like
chivalry.
Chivalry. Sorry, chivalry.
They have the same roots, but they're very different.
Be like the Black Knight, where in the movie, like, save the damsel in distress and cater to her. It doesn't make the woman less than of a woman if she has a man that is leading the home or leading the relationship. They go one in the same. They go together. They're a team. So that the fact that we want to
more young men need permission to do that.
100%, because
they need to be taught permission. More young women need to give space to allow that. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, "Hey, I want a guy to be this, this, and this," but I don't want.
He can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, he can't tell me what to do, or he can't, this or that. And a guy can't say, "I want this and this and this from a woman," but she also can't do this, or she needs to do this, right? It's like, it's just right now in society, there's not a lot of permission to be authentically. Authentically the way God created us. So there has to be, we're talking about it now, but there definitely has to be more permission and talking about it and say, hey, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be a young man. It's okay to be chivalrous. It's okay to take the lead. It's okay to, go work hard.
Yeah.
Go prepare to take care of a family one day if that's what you want. Like, It's also okay for a young woman to also prepare for her financial,
Right.
you know, as well. That doesn't mean that she's going to have to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit around until I find my guy and I marry
Right,
him.
right,
It's like,
right.
no, you can, until then, you can work on yourself and grow and go to school and learn and, you know, get job, make money, you know,
Right.
both of you guys can.
Right.
And then if you come together, Lord willing, you guys can work together on how that'll apply together, you know?
Yeah. I feel like once that, I think we go back to that in that there's that type of environment. I feel like, because Alize, we were talking, we're like, but do men really like approach women at the coffee shop and be like, hey, I want to take you out, or I want to, because I know you mentioned one time like, oh, I'll just pay for your coffee and I'll pay for your drink. We were like, well, that doesn't really happen, like, or maybe not, I don't know, maybe not to us, but I'm just like, yeah. So it's just like I think what you're talking about, once that's built, I feel like men will have that freedom to be like, oh, okay, this woman's not gonna turn around and be like, oh no, I'm independent, like I'm gonna pay for it. It's like, nah, like you want to pay for it?
Yeah, I don't know if there was
Go
like a
ahead.
video I saw one time that was like circulating on the internet, and it was like a girl saying exactly what you said, like, how come guys don't approach me and blah 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 blah, and then it had like one guy's view, and then it had him with like 10 different women asking them out, and then all the girls said no.
Wow.
And then it went back to that girl from the first time and said, you know, why don't any guys ever
That makes
approach
sense.
and
Yeah.
ask out? And it's like, because so many men have been rejected so many times
Yeah.
that, you know, they don't know whether you're going to be interested in them or
Yeah.
not. So there's this idea of like, because in the past you kind of met someone in college or at school or work or whatever. So, but now you have people working from home. You have people. So really, where's the best place you can meet someone? Online or it's like a quick run in somewhere, right?
Right.
Which that is like a lot of pressure that most guys would say, I don't want to get
Take that
rejected
risk,
because
yeah.
I've been rejected 10 times doing that type of thing. So to
Yeah.
you, it's one time. To him, it's the
Right.
11th time
Yeah, and-
being told I'm not interested.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's why I give, when a guy does approach me, like I'll be at dinner with the girls or something, and if they do approach, I will give them props. I'll be like, you know what, thank you, that was right. Whether I'm
Then you still tell
I'm-
them no.
huh?
Then you still tell them no.
No, I
Say
mean,
thank you for doing that. I'm not
no,
interested.
I mean,
And he walks away.
You know what? I'll give like my Instagram. So
Yeah.
I went out with my friend, and mind you, this guy probably wasn't even one to anyway. But so I went out with her, and then we were just eating, and then he came up to me. He was like, "Yeah, we're having a Super Bowl party. Like, I'd love for you to come." And then he was like, "Here." He took his phone out. He's like, "Put your number in." And I was just like, oh, you know what? Like, I'll give you, I just personally feel more comfortable giving my, like, Instagram. So I was just like, oh, I'll give you my Instagram handle. He's like, I don't do that. So never mind. It's all good. So he was just like, oh, I'll still give you the place if you want to come by. And I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know. I just personally was
Yeah,
like,
he's a goober for that.
Yeah,
I was like, I just-
Why do I don't need your number? Why do I need your number? Actually,
Like,
go to my
if-
Instagram first and see if you actually do want my number. How
and I
about
was
that?
like, you know what? Let's just start there. So that's what I'm saying. And I'll still give the guy props. Like,
Yeah.
hey, that was, if you give a kind comment or something,
Yeah.
I'll give him the Instagram, but
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
automatically off the bat will give you my number.
No, I
That's
think
just
that's
more
great.
personal.
Yeah, why'd you?
that's
And there's weird people out there. You don't know if he's weird or not.
Right,
So go with your-
exactly.
like it's not like you guys clicked or whatever.
So
but,
props to
you know.
guys who do go up to you when you're like, especially with a group of girls or when you're with a
Right.
girlfriend. You know, I think that's like a great like thing for a guy to do, but it takes a lot,
Yeah.
like you were saying.
I personally would
So-
never go up to a stranger and ask for their phone number. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thought he
I
was
wouldn't
being
have.
smooth with the.
No, I'm
Super
saying
Bowl
good on
thing.
guys who have that confidence.
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
never. I would have never.
So
I
how
would
did you talk to? Oh, like your friends first and stuff.
I mean, yeah, there's like, yeah, you'll get. You know,
Well, you did kind of tell me already
Yeah.
how you would have, like, if it was me, like, oh, you know, Instagram. I see that you go to these restaurants. Oh, here's a restaurant. So you've broken it down.
yeah, I mean,
before.
do I? You know,
Ashlee's leaning.
you know. To me, it was.
This is very
when
entertaining.
I when I wanted to
How did
hopefully
you hit
get
on
a date
girls?
with Ashlee,
Don't
it
even
was
use me. I'm boring. We've been in church. Use that when you were out in the world doing your thing.
no. I mean, so for me, it was just it. For me, I leaned on the fact that I believe I am very charming, and so I would lean on my charm. I would just say, hey, if I'm, I need to be around a girl for a certain period of time to be able to express my charming side. So I would
okay,
never
okay,
trust that like I have a good first impression. To me, I'd be like, you need like. I want to be around you for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
I crack some jokes. I can perceive the conversation different from other people and just add a little bit of value. And then, you know what I'm saying? Phil?
Phil was leaned in. You were charming him in that moment. Phil was leaned in.
Phil was being charmed.
But that's what I tried with that, because I felt like if I asked Ashlee on a first date right away, that wasn't enough to make an impact, that she could have said no. So with her, it was like, hey, want to help me at youth night, and let's connect about youth service beforehand so that we can go. And to me, I was just like, if we could just hang out a little bit, I think maybe if there is a connection, it'll be long enough for her to see it. And if it's not, then she'll pass on it. But I never felt like I would just walk up to a girl and be like, hey, can I get your number? Like, to me, I'd be like, I'm for sure getting rejected on that.
No, but I also think too, even when you did, like when we were talking, it was because obviously having interactions with exes and relationships and like stuff like that, I liked, and I think a lot of women still do like this as well. They like to be sought after.
Absolutely.
They like pursued. Yes. So like when I saw Adam on Saturday, and I didn't go to Sunday service because we went to Saturday night service. So I didn't go on Sunday. By Monday or Tuesday, because the following week was VBS, he messaged me and said, hey, are you still interested in VBS on Facebook? Then we talked a little bit here and there, then work. And then maybe Wednesday, he messaged me again. But it wasn't every day. So it wasn't too pressing where I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's obsessed already and creepy and weird. But it was here and there. And so then we went through VBS and we didn't talk till day 2 or something. And this was the following week till day 2. He was like, hey, I didn't see you yesterday. And we didn't see each other. But he didn't come searching for me. But he was like, hey, I didn't see you. How did everything go? And so he was just asking me how my day was and stuff like that. But that was something that I liked because there was intentionality behind it and there was the pursuit behind it. I think the whole thing is okay, you're going to text me. Are you going to text me every day now? This is weird. I just met you, barely know your name. Let's get in a setting where we can get to know a football game. You're going to be consumed. I don't want it to seem that's just not the right setting for it. But yeah, with you pursuing me, there was never a time where I didn't think, okay, this guy isn't interested. He's interested enough to go on a date. And that's what you always put out. It was a little gem. And it wasn't 30 gems. We need to go out tomorrow. I need to take you out. This is what I'm going to do.
I had things to do. I had people to see. I had business to attend to.
I was just giving him props of just being a humble guy. And you see where that gets him.
I had things to attend to. I've been very busy.
I had that on the list, though.
No, I'd be like this in my room. She gonna mess me back.
Notifications on. Notifications are on.
Yes. What do I think of next?
Mom
What do I think of next?
Right. He's like, Mom, stop calling me Mom.
I'd pace around my apartment. What am I going to say next?
Gosh.
He's all practicing in front of the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, if you really, I'm sure guys are like that because if they're interested in somebody, there's something, they don't want to mess it up. They want to have a continual conversation, authentic conversation.
Yeah, because y'all are barely giving us anything back.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Because it's crazy.
You're just going ha in the text.
LOL.
What is that?
Oh,
but I think we need one where we're we needed dating tips from everyone. How were you when it came to dating? How was Pastor Aaron when he came to date? What was your game? What was your game?
Ooh,
Phil, how did you get Angie? You guys met at 14 and 6 flags.
That was. He just said,
"Orale, girl." And she was from Utah, and he was from here, so he got her.
Utah. He said, "Orale, mommy."
You want to go on? You want to go on Superman's?
He said, "Can I buy you some Takis?"
Some Takis, churro.
I know. That gets him mad. That's why I did it. That gets him mad.
I'm American.
I know that
right.
stuff
He's
gets Phil
no.
mad.
Do you want a hot dog?
Yeah. Phil would get mad about that.
Dating tips.
The dating tips for men and how the women do because you date differently and women, you said, you can get in your
live speed dating.
Oh,
well, you got live speed dating with strangers,
just with Nancy and a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah,
bring them
Nancy's
in.
saying more so for her.
Nancy's speaking for this for her. Yeah, just have your Instagram open
I'll
they
be
know.
I'll be a guinea pig.
She'll be like, I think we should do Christian PK. We're like, yeah, put the list together. Nancy, why are there 16 guys and one girl being you? Well, I was the only one available.
Right. She may throw Alizé in there once as a decoy.
I know. I mean, Alizé's single too.
Right. Golly. Alizé's too young. She can't date.
Spumoni from Recess. What's the name?
Spinelli.
All right, Spinelli. That's what it is.
All right.
Hopefully this one was interesting and riveting enough for everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.